The gain to the winner is always less than the loss to the loser. You only live twice, once when you are born, and once when you look death in the face. Never say no to adventures. Always say yes, otherwise, you'll lead a very dull life. People are islands, she said. They don't really touch. However close they are, they're really quite separate. Even if they've been married for 50 years. I am a poet in deeds, not often in words. Mr. Bond, they have a saying in Chicago, once is happenstance. Twice is coincidence. The third time it's enemy action. The distance between insanity and genius is measured only by success. Surround yourself with human beings, my dear James. They are easier to fight for than principles. Once is happenstance. Twice is coincidence. 3 times is enemy action. A woman can put up with almost anything but indifference. Bond reflected that good Americans were fine people and that most of them seemed to come from Texas. It was the short men that caused all the trouble in the world. Unfortunately, most ways of making big money take a long time. By the time one has made the money, one is too old to enjoy it. Loneliness becomes a lover, solitude a darling sin. History is moving pretty quickly these days, and the heroes and villains keep on changing parts. Everyone has the revolver of resignation in his pocket. Most marriages don't add 2 people together. They subtract one from the other. It's just that I'd rather die of drink than of thirst. All women love semi-rape. They love to be taken. It was his sweet brutality against my bruised body that made his act of love so piercingly wonderful. Hope makes a good breakfast. Eat plenty of it. The gain to the winner is always less than the loss to the loser. Like all harsh, cold men, he was easily tipped over into sentiment. The bitch is dead now. Before a man's 40, girls cost nothing. After that, you have to pay money, or tell a story. Of the two, it's the story that hurts most. Anyway, I'm not 40 yet. Prohibition is the trigger of crime. Love of life is born of the awareness of death, of the dread of it. Worry is a dividend, paid to disaster before it is due. And people, with obsessions, reflected Bond, were blind to danger. His headache was still sitting over his right eye as if it had been nailed there. They want us dead, said Bond calmly. So, we have to stay alive. It reads better than it lives. And then one day, when you're playing your little game, you'll suddenly find yourself pinned down like a butterfly. You start to die the moment you are born. The whole of life is cutting through the pack with death. So take it easy. He shrugged his shoulders to shift the pain of failure, the pain that is so much greater than the pleasure of success. You can get far in North America with laconic runts. Huh, hun, and hi. In their various modulations, together with sure, guess so, that so, and nuts. Will meet almost any contingency. Our prisons are full of people who think they're Napoleon, or God. Surround yourself with human beings, my dear James. They are easier to fight for than principles. He laughed. But don't let me down, and become human yourself. We would lose such a wonderful machine. Englishmen are so odd. They are like a nest of Chinese boxes. It takes a very long time to get to the center of them. When one gets there, the result is unrewarding, but the process is instructive and entertaining. Those whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make bored. She explained to me later that she must have been possessed by a subconscious desire to be raped. Well, she found me in the mountains, and she was raped by me. I never have more than one drink before dinner. But I do like that one to be large, and very strong, and very cold, and very well made. I hate small portions of anything, particularly when they taste bad. When the odds are hopeless, when all seems to be lost, then is the time to be calm, to make a show of authority, dash at least of indifference. He was a secret agent, and still alive thanks to his exact attention to the detail of his profession. For her, sex was nothing more than an itch. And this psychological and physiological neutrality of hers at once relieved her of so many human emotions, and sentiments, and desires. Sexual neutrality was the essence of coldness in an individual. It was a great and wonderful thing to be born with. I don't drink tea. I hate it. It's mud. Moreover, it's one of the main reasons for the downfall of the British Empire. Be a good girl, and make me some coffee. Danger, like a third man, was standing in the room. Champagne, and Benzedrine. Never again.